Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex here. Today we are here with the next episode of F1 2015 Career Mode, and today it is my home race. Well, sort of. It's not a home race for science, but it's the home race for myself personally, so hopefully for me I'm going to get a good result for this race here today. So you can see one-shot qualifying as always in our Toro Rosso. We're going to hopefully get at least sort of top 10, I suppose, the least I really want in this race here today. I mean, Silverstone Great Britain track has never been one I've been particularly good at in the past, so I wasn't expecting much, I'm not gonna lie. But so far this season, guys, I've had really good results in qualifying and the races as well. Obviously Austria was a bit of a hiccup for me. I didn't exactly the greatest result in the world there, but gotta say, guys, I've really enjoyed this career mode so far. It's been a lot of fun. Obviously being in the Toro Rosso, maybe I think the difficulty is a bit too easy for me, but the thing is, legend difficulty, I'm like last every race, and it's not any fun at all. It's really frustrating, and if I finish last every race, it's just gonna mean it means gonna have like no motivation for the series. So for me, it's better to have this at the moment, and then once we get into a good car, maybe a Ferrari or maybe a Mercedes for next season, that's what I'm hoping. Maybe, I don't know, what's the third best car? I don't know, Williams maybe for next season. Maybe go for them, and then I'll put it up to the legend difficulty, so it won't matter so much if we're sort of mid-pack in those sort of teams. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this Silverstone race. Here you can see through the middle sector I'm losing quite a bit of time to Lewis Hamilton here, and we run a little bit wide through there, but surprisingly no penalty or anything. But also something I want to quickly say, guys, you can see by the length of this video is obviously going to be a bit longer than the previous career mode videos. That's because I've spent a lot of time editing together this video, editing it together with loads of different camera views from other drives and everything. So if you want to see more videos like this, which are really highly edited, let me know in the comment section down below. It'd probably mean I'd only have one career mode video a day at max, but overall I think it's probably better for the channel because it really makes the videos a lot nicer for you guys to watch, in my opinion at least. But that qualifying lap was really good for me there. That last sector went down really well. I was really fast through the Maggots and Beckett's corners, and I managed to close up to Lewis Hamilton, and it was only 2 tenths off pole position in the end there, so that was good for me there. My teammates down there in 12th place. But let's hand it over to Croft and Davidson for the race intro.
It's Sunday afternoon, and that means it's time for Formula One. This week finds us in the lush English countryside as the teams make their final preparations before the start of the British Grand Prix here in Silverstone. Here's today's pole sitter, Lewis Hamilton. When I was speaking to him early on, I got the sense that he has total confidence in himself and his Mercedes car to take that race victory today.
He's definitely going to be difficult to beat today, but anything can happen, so we'll have to keep a close eye on how this unfolds over the course of the race.
Just what do you think will be going through Fernando Alonso's head as he watches now how well Ferrari are doing this year?
Fernando left Ferrari as he didn't believe they'd be able to offer him the opportunity to win that third world title. If he knew this form was around the corner, I dare say he would have stayed put.
Right then, thank you guys for that. It's time for the British Grand Prix. We start on the front row, the grid, the lights are out, and away we go. We get a pretty bad start actually. Hamilton gets a rocket ship of a start down to turn 1, as does Rosberg. He goes round our outside but goes wide, I think off the track as well, so Raikkonen gets past him. Now we're right up behind Lewis Hamilton into the second and third turns. As we go down the inside, we're looking down the inside of Lewis Hamilton. We're sort of hopping over the curb to try and get the move down the inside. We are side by side with Hamilton, but he has this superior traction on the outside of the corner, and he rockets away out of the corner and continues his lead of this British Grand Prix. So technically 2 British drivers now battling it over the first position on the road. So we can look down the inside of Hamilton to this next turn. Yes, there's definitely a bit of contact there. I couldn't steer it into the corner, but I had to move down the inside. He left a gap, so I went for it, trying to squeeze him out a little bit wide over the curves to lose him a bit of traction. But looks like we have got the lead of the race, going across the old start finish line into the old turn number 1. We break a little bit later, I think, than Hamilton, and we go past him there, or we stay past him I should say, and we're in the lead of the race now. Hamilton's got Vettel not that far behind him, but through this Maggots and Beckett section here you can see we're not as quick as the Mercedes. He is closing in on us here, and we run a bit wide on the exit there over the grass. That's going to mean we have a pretty bad run down this back straight here. Hamilton 1.2 seconds back, with Vettel just under 2 seconds behind him. So we're going into the last couple of corners of this lap now, and remember the pit lane is on the right hand side here. We'll see that later on in the video, but for the pit lane you actually cut out the last corner, so that's why they actually had to reduce the speed of the pit lane, meaning that you got even slower through the pit lane at Silverstone than you do in many other places, because you actually gain time from going through the pit lane. But across the start finish line there, obviously in the lead this race now, but Hamilton has closed that gap down now to less than 7/10 of a second. Vettel actually has slightly fallen back from Hamilton through there. It's over 2 seconds now, the gap from Hamilton to Vettel, but at this moment we've got so much pressure on us here. It's like park it on the middle of the corner here, make sure he can't get a good run through the corner, but he has that Mercedes power plant in the back of his car, so whatever happens here, he's going to be past us into this next turn here. So I decided to go defensive. I don't make one abrupt move to the left hand side, but I try and close him off a bit there, but we run round the outside here. Looks like we're going to run a little bit wide, just slightly over the curves there, but we keep the lead of the race. Hamilton tries to go round the outside of us here. Is he going to have the momentum around the outside? We power it through the middle of the corner, and we actually drive it into the gravel ever so slightly there, and we keep our lead of this race. Wow, I'm already losing my voice here, and Hamilton's trying to go for the move again. He's trying to go for a move down the inside. Is that going to work out? Well, not quite. We just about hang it out round the outside and maintain the lead of this race. Right, time to have a look at that from the replay camera here, which we saw at the end of the race here. So you can see a bad start from us there, and Rosberg trying to go around the outside here, but he just completely turns out the corner, loses a couple of positions. He actually made contact there and spun around in front of the whole field. Really weird line from Rosberg there, and actually caused himself a massive problem. This is where we tried to go down the inside of Lewis Hamilton here. Are we going to be able to make the move done? Well, obviously we know we're not, because he's just got that superior traction out the corner, but you can see here we didn't lose much time to Hamilton here. We were trying to just stay right with him here and knew that our opportunity would come to try and overtake him here. So through here we took a little bit more speed, and then down the inside here there was a gap. Hamilton did leave a gap, and I was quite forceful with the overtake, guys, but think about it. I'm going for a win here. I really want to get this win. I mean, personally for me there isn't much of a championship battle on. I mean, I'm not going to be winning the World Championship, but I'm battling it around for like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place in the championship if I have a good couple of runs of races. So yeah, you can see through the old turn 1 there we took a lot of speed, and somebody spun it in the background there. I think that might be Raikkonen, because Vettel stayed in the race in 3rd place. So Raikkonen spun it here on the first lap of the second lap of the race. First lap of the race, isn't it? I'm getting confused by myself here, but looks like we had a pretty decent lap there, really, didn't we? We took our opportunity when we could to get past Hamilton, and we started to pull out a bit of a lead in the middle sector there, but weirdly through this last sector we're locking up through there as always and going through to the last couple of corners on the lap. It's just a bit weird that they gained so much time through the sort of first sector, really, because through here we've got a bit of a decent lead over Hamilton here, but I suppose we do just not have as much power in the car. It's not as good through the corners. It's just inevitable him and his Mercedes will do better, and you can see this was down the back straight, Hamilton, when he was trying to overtake me, and you can see here he went to the inside here. I didn't go fully defensive to the inside, but he managed to get that move done. But I did manage to brake a bit later, go around the outside of Hamilton there and grab back the lead of this race, which I thought was a pretty good move. But then he was just powering it around the outside here. He was trying to get that move done. I tried to squeeze him out a little bit there, but then I ran myself into the gravel, and that gave Hamilton a really good run through here. So maybe a bit of payback for running him out a little bit wide there, but Hamilton really good run down the old main straight here, and it put Vettel and that lot right up behind us once again. I go round the outside of Hamilton to take back my lead. So I think this is actually either lap 3 or lap number 4. I decided to show it from the replay camera because it's actually quite a lot cooler to watch it from this camera angle. So you can see Hamilton tried to go for the move there. I ran out slightly wide, but then came back onto the track and locked up, and Hamilton went back through. But then I actually had a bit more momentum through this corner here and was right up in the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton down the old main straight. And you can see across the old start finish line there, we were right up behind Hamilton through the old turn 1, carrying a lot of speed here, running a tad wide though, but we do keep it right up behind Hamilton here through Maggots and Beckett's right now. Just keeping it planted right up behind Hamilton. It's really it's really hard to follow someone closely in this game. But, we got a really good run through that corner right there. And we had the DRS assistance as well. So I think this was actually lap number 3. Because we were really just battling it away. You can see behind Vettel, the gap's actually gone up quite a bit. And we managed to get past Hamilton there and go back into the lead of the race. And Hamilton tries to come back at us there, but he couldn't quite make that one out. So now we're going into the last couple of corners once again. Myself and Lewis Hamilton battling it over for the win, and with Vettel in there as well. It's always going to be an interesting battle. And at this point I actually fast forwarded it because I didn't think there was going to be any action, so I had to rewind and try and get back to a similar point to where we were in the replay here. But there was actually action because Hamilton got past me at turn 1. Then I went for a really late move down the inside of Hamilton here, which we're going to see from his point of view here. All of this, he had an amazing, excellent run through that last corner there, managing to get past us through the first corner there. There was a tiny bit of contact. I wasn't actually expecting him to be there, so Hamilton up front, I slightly braked here. He's trying to defend the inside line, but I went for the gap that was there, down the inside of Hamilton and back into the lead of this race. This race is absolutely enthralling. I'm really enjoying it. Even watching it back, it's exciting. I really can't remember what's coming next because there was so much going on in this race. So now we're right up behind ourselves in the slipstream here. We have the DRS because we were behind in the detection point, and Hamilton tries to go down the inside here, but we just about defend from enough here. Run a bit wide on the exit. Vettel gets past as well, and you can see going through Maggots and Beckett's here. From Vettel's point of view here, you can see he's really closing up on us here. We made a slight mistake going into our inside. I was trying to be a bit defensive here, and I was kind of all over the place here, but Vettel trying to go around their outside. You can see I was trying to leave him a car's width. I think I just gave him a little bit too little space here, but we're running side by side. Vettel gets past, and we go for a move down the inside. Yes, we do. I mean, it's all got a bit of contact in these races, but now we watch it all from Massa's point of view. I think he's got in front of Hamilton. Maybe Hamilton's pitted, I can't remember now, but Vettel got past us once again. We went for a move down the inside. This race is absolutely crazy, and now Massa gets past Sebastian Vettel into second place here. I'm really looking for a win now. I can say I'm in this position, so it's like I've got to take all these opportunities, and if there's even a tiny gap, I'm going to go for it. So through the old turn 1, and there's contact. Massa gets taken out there by Sebastian Vettel, and now I think if we look back, we're going to see this all from Sebastian Vettel's point of view here. So you can see we're going side by side in front. Massa just goes really wide, and he goes back onto the track, sort of just drives into the side of, well, I don't know, whose fault was that really? Vettel was taking a lot of speed through the corner, so was he supposed to be giving the, was he supposed to be giving the space, or was, Massa supposed to be paying a bit more attention about what he was doing? But anyway, we decided to stay out one extra lap to take our first pit stop in this race, and we decided to do that to hopefully have better tyres towards the end of this race here. So we decided to put it into the lean fuel mixture just to save a little bit of fuel. It's a bit weird that you can't actually change the fuel thing and everything in the pit lane. It's a bit weird in my opinion why you're not allowed to do that, but the game doesn't actually let you. You can't physically change the fuel mapping in the pit lane here. So we come out of this pit stop here, the pit lane glitch where it takes you down to second gear as always, and we come out in the lead of this race here. A bit of a weird top 3 currently, with myself, Bottas and Hamilton in the top 3 currently, but at this point it was getting too much for me here. The rain was coming down way too much. Quite a few cars behind had pitted. I checked out the race director as well, and quite a few other of the cars had actually been pitting in for the intermediate tyre, so I was like, we've got to do it. We're in a good position here. We can't really risk a possible race win here, so I decided to come in, put the intermediate tyres on for our second stop in this race here, and I thought, yeah, that's not too bad. Then I saw coming down the pit straight, okay, they're a little bit closer than us here. So Bottas and Hamilton actually come out of the pit, well, as I come out of the pit, I should say, they're pretty much right behind me here. But luckily for me, I get through this first couple of corners alright, and Bottas, as we're going to see in a second, hasn't actually stopped for a second time. Look, he's still going around, guys, on the prime tyres, I think they are, aren't they? The orange sidewall tyres, he's still going around on them. You can see he's got overtaken now by Hamilton and Vettel there. And through the old turn 1, he's so slow, he's crawling around here. The AI are going so slowly, so it was an absolutely perfect call from us to come into the pits. If we hadn't stopped there, guys, we could have been in trouble of not winning this race. So there's, I think, a Red Bull of Ricciardo going through past the Williams now. So it's just a nightmare here from the Williams team. They had a decent result here for Bottas, but they threw it away from deciding not to pit here. So Valtteri Bottas throwing away a possible good result. You can see he's been overtaken, I think that's by Nico Hülkenberg as well now. This race is going from bad to worse for the Williams team. And for Valtteri Bottas here, I think his teammate Massa is going to be overtaking him soon as well. So really disappointing there for the Williams team, but something that was incredibly good was that we were in the lead of the race by 12 seconds. Our risky pit strategy, you could say, of coming in for a second time for the tyres. I mean, you could say it wasn't really a risk, but in ways it was, in ways it wasn't, because if we didn't pit, we could be out there and we could have won the race if it stopped raining. But luckily for us, it did keep raining, and we managed to keep our victory there, and that's the first time we are on the top step of the podium. I know it's not realistic, guys, but that wasn't a realistic, well, let's say it was a realistic race, I suppose, but it wasn't a predictable race. I called that race pretty much perfect. A bit like Hamilton said in real life, he called his British Grand Prix perfect. I pitted exactly the right times. I managed to pull the gap out and gain the positions when I could. And yeah, I think the pace was there, but it wasn't there to get a victory on legitimate pace. But I'm happy with it. Obviously, I'll take the 25 points. They stand together on the podium for the photograph, and this is how the result looked in the end. I won by 9 seconds in the end there, so we lost a bit of time on that last lap, but it doesn't really matter. Vettel beat Hamilton there on that last lap of the race. Didn't actually notice that. And then it was Ricciardo, Hulkenberg. Bottas actually finished in 6th place somehow. There was such a big gap back to Perez. He didn't get overtaken, and Button gets some more points for him in his McLaren. Well done, Jensen. And let's have a look at that, how that sort of wraps up the standings as well. We're up ahead of Raikkonen once again, sort of seesawing between me and Raikkonen for that 5th place in the championship. Our teammate is down there at 10th place in the championship now. He hasn't scored many points since sort of the first 3 or 4 rounds, which is surprising. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. You can see we're up to, well, we're into 4th place in the constructors now, and McLaren Honda have got 10 points. Not too shabby whatsoever. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time tomorrow for more career mode videos. Goodbye.